The Blue Jays, unfortunately, could not sweep away the Texas Rangers at Rogers Center. They're this afternoon losing 7-3. And, tonight, or this afternoon, I guess, was all about the inability to pitch, the inability to throw quality pitches, and the inability to throw strikes. And when you don't do things like that, you're going to lose a lot of ball games. Sean Reid-Foley got the start for the Blue Jays in today's game, and he was doing all right early on, until the fourth inning, though, where he ran into command issues and things just really ran into some... He was just having a tough time with Sean Reid-Foley. Went 3 1/3, gave up 4 hits, 3 runs. All 3 were earned. Walked 3 and struck out 3. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, at least 2 of those walks were in that fourth inning where he eventually got pulled from the game. You guys are probably wondering, actually, before I even continue on, James, where the heck are you, bud? You're moving around every single day. Well, actually, I'm in Penn State University right now, so that's actually what's going on right now. My aunt works here at the university, so I'm in the biology lab right now. It's kind of crazy. So if things look a little off and all that kind of stuff, I apologize to you guys for that, but it's just finding ways to do it for you guys. I apologize for making it maybe a little bit of inconvenience for you, but... I'm here anyways. All right, so let's break this thing down. I mean, it didn't start out early. It didn't start out good early on. Going to the fourth inning, the Jays had no offense. That was an issue early on, but the Blue Jays pitching has been pretty good lately, so we're okay with that. But then they put up a 4 spot, or I guess they put up 4 runs over that first 4 inning span. 3 in the top half of the fourth, building that lead up for nothing. Now, we have seen this Blue Jays offense, and they don't go quietly, and that's what we've kind of learned. So I've learned with this team to have a little faith in them. And in the bottom of the fourth, Randall Grichuk leads off the inning with a triple, and then a few batters later, Brandon Drury hits an RBI ground out to bring him home. And we're like, all right, we're on the board, now it's 4-1. Problem, next half inning, you give up wasn't that inning? No, it wasn't. They didn't give up on that inning. But for the most part, it was a lot of when the Jays scored runs, they answered. You know what I mean? Because at some point, Danny Jansen had an RBI single, and on a wild pitch, Teoscar Hernandez scored, and that was all in one inning to cut the deficit down to 5-3. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is really close now. Then Bichette doubled, moving Jansen to third. We have the tying run in scoring position now for Cavan Biggio, and he strikes out to end the inning. The Blue Jays, I gotta say, did not get that clutch hit in the game today. There was a couple instances where they had a couple guys on and nobody out, and we're like, man, this is the opportunity right here, and they just couldn't really, I guess, fully complete the comeback, and it didn't help that the pitching staff was not able to hold any zeros for the Blue Jays today. I mean, you look at the way Sean Reid-Foley started, yeah, he wasn't great. And then Buddy Boshears came in, and he got the strikeout. So in that fourth inning where Sean Reid-Foley was got pulled from the game, it was first and third, I think it was, with 1 out, and they bring in Buddy Boshears, and I'm like, this game is long over. Then he strikes out a guy, and I'm like, okay, can he get out of this and hold it to a 1-0 lead still? But instead, or was it maybe second and third? I don't know, something like that. And then they get a two-run knock. I think it was a 2-run double, and then it's a 3-0 game, And then you got Zach Godley, who comes out there and he goes 2 1/3, but he gives up a run on 2 hits and walks 2 guys. So every pitcher almost gave up runs. Then you look at Neil Ramirez, who had a very good open for the Blue Jays when he opened for this team a couple days ago. He went an inning and 2/3, gave up 3 hits and 2 runs. When the Jays are trying to mount a comeback, you need your pitchers to throw up zeros, and they didn't. Justin Schaefer was the only guy to do so, but at that point, it was already a 7-3 deficit in the latter half of the innings. So he really didn't have anything good going on. He went an inning and a third, didn't allow a hit, didn't walk 2 guys, but didn't allow any runs to cross, and that was it. So yeah, the offense wasn't clutch. You weren't getting those clutch knocks like you were back when you went 19-3, or no, sorry, 19-4, excuse me. However, you got some clutch knocks. You scored 3 runs. Yeah, it's not the greatest, but you were right in the game for quite a majority of the game. Yeah, you were down 4-0, but at one point you made it a 5-3 game. It's only a 2-run ball game. You have runners at second and third. You need that clutch hit to bring those 2 tying runs in, and then it's a totally different ball game. Then you see a guy like Neil Ramirez doesn't come out in the next inning. You don't see a Zach Godley come out. you see some of the better relievers come out for the Blue Jays, and who knows, you could lock down a victory. But instead, you don't get those clutch hits. You got to go throw at those guys that you throw out there when you're in a deficit, like they did today, and then you lose. I mean, it's hard. It's really difficult to pinpoint an issue, but all I know is that the Jays did not throw enough zeros up on the board, and they didn't get enough clutch hits. That was just the story of the ball game to me. I mean, that was just the way it was. Offensively, again, nobody really stood out as a juggernaut today. Bo Bichette was 1 for 5 in the game. Kevin Biggio was 1 for 3 with a couple RBIs. That's great to see. But he missed out on the big opportunity there. And Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was 0 for 5. He had a rough night at the plate, did Vladdy. And Randall Gritch was 1 for 3. Obviously had the triple, and he also walked once in the ball game. Sorry, I thought Biggio had 2 RBIs. He actually got 2 walks in the game. I'm reading something different here, so it's a little bit off. Teoscar Hernandez went 0 for 3 with a run scored and a walk. Rowdy Tellez, great to see him back up here. He went 1 for 3 with a run scored. Good to see him doing that. And then Brandon Drury and Derek Fisher, 2 guys at the bottom of the lineup who had opportunities in big situations, did not come through. They combined 0 for 8 with a walk, and that was Brandon Drury. Sorry, an RBI, which was Brandon Drury. That was the RBI ground out that he had, cutting the deficit to 4-1. And then Danny Jansen probably had the best game as a Blue Jay, of today. I'm not saying it was his best game because he's had a lot of greater games than this. But he went 2 for 4 with an RBI today. Danny Jansen had that big RBI single to cut it to a 5-3 deficit. And I mean, that put the Jays right back in the ballgame. But they just could not get that next step. They couldn't just continue on the roll and complete the comeback. And you know what? That happens sometimes, guys. We can be mad at this team all we want, but what we do know is that this team is so damn young, and they are showing us so many different things. They're showing us resilience. They're showing us the offensive plate discipline. We're seeing, pitching-wise, yeah, it's kind of hit or miss right now. But we all know what the Jays have in the minor leagues when it comes to pitching. You all know about Alek Manoah. You all know about Kendall Williams, Nate Pearson, and some other guys in there that round out the rotation. I know Eric Perdino as well. There's lots of guys in the minor leagues who are eventually going to be coming up here and dominating. But right now, the Jays are kind of seeing what they have pitching-wise with Thomas Pannone, who did a great job yesterday. Sean Reid-Foley, who did a great job last time I got to Yankees, but struggled with his control today. And for him, that is the one thing I look at when it comes to Sean Reid-Foley, and that is the one thing I question. For everything else, when it comes to velocity, when it comes to his movement on his pitches, everything. I love the way he pitches. The problem is, when he loses the zone, it's hard for him to come back. He reminds me a lot of Aaron Sanchez. He has dominating stuff, but he misses the strike zone a lot. And you look at that inning where they piled on 3 runs, and arguably that was the winning time for them because, they scored 1 and made it 1-0. But if you go ahead to the bottom of the 4th, the Jays made it 1-1. If that was the case and they didn't allow 3. But instead, Sean Reid-Foley couldn't find the strike zone, got into some trouble. Pitch count was way up there. They had to pull him in the 4th, and things just didn't go well from there. It was just a rough night. You know what? Everyone talks about, okay, I'm going to kind of slow it down with this and kind of end it off with this because it's a rough ball game. The minor league teams haven't played yet today, so it's one of those days where it's like, there's not much going on. But everyone talks about the MLB changing to more of less a bullpen type of league. When bullpen guys are the premium, that's the kind of thing. I get that to a certain extent. When you need starting pitchers to give you 5, 6, 7 or more innings. I mean, look at a guy like Sean Reid-Foley today. He went 3 1/3 as a starter, and he got roughed up, and the Jays lost. You look what Sean Reid-Foley did a great job against the New York Yankees. If I'm not mistaken, didn't the Jays win that ball game? Starting pitching is very important. You want all 5 starters going and dealing on all cylinders. You haven't seen that from guys on a consistent basis. Now, that's what you're going to get when it comes to young players. You're going to see that with Trent Thornton. You're going to see that with Sean Reid-Foley. Because look at Trent Thornton's last outing. He was awesome. I think it was against the Yankees. They lost 1-0. Went 6 strong innings of 1-hit ball or 1-run ball. But then in his outing previous, he got destroyed. And same with Sean Reid-Foley. He was awesome in his last outing. He was not good today. That's what happens with young pitching, people. This is why we talk about the learning, the being patient, and the enjoying this team right now. Yeah, they're going to have some stinkers like this. It just happens that way. But they're also going to have some games where they win 19-4. Maybe not to that extent, but they're going to have games like that. So for this Blue Jays team, you got to be patient. You got to take the losses for what they are. Losses, learning experiences, and move on. I know I sound like a broken record, but it's just the way it has to be, guys. The next year, I'm actually really excited to see what this team looks like next year. I personally believe Nate Pearson's going to be in the rotation next year. Ryan Baracki's going to be back fully healthy. Maybe Sean Reid-Foley or Trent Thornton are going to have spots at the back end of the rotation. You know, you're going to see some other younger pitchers going through the system, maybe even make it up to the big leagues, depending how they're dominating. It's going to be really exciting next year. For right now, let's continue to watch about what we have right now. Continue to enjoy the Vladdy, Bo, and Kevin Biggio rookie years that they're going through right now. And just take it day by day, people. It's going to be a grind. It's going to be tough some days, like today. You just got to get through it. All right? So, guys, like I said, there's nothing going on in the minor leagues right now. They all play later on. All right? So, you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. You guys enjoyed this video, and you guys enjoyed not really the ball game today. Smack the like button to appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below your thoughts on the video, your thoughts on the ball game, your thoughts on any of the minor leaguers that you're really intrigued to see come up to the big league club at some point. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on everything Toronto Blue Jays wise. All right? So, check out my main man, Mo Buckets, on Twitter, guys. Blue Jays Wave on Instagram. All right, if you've not checked out him on Instagram, please go do so. I will be on his podcast next week. It's going to be a lot of fun as always. And Twitter is down below. Follow up, send me a DM, guys. Do all that great stuff, and I'll talk to you guys. A Blue Jays edition. They're off tomorrow, so thank goodness I get to have a reprieve and not scramble to do a video. But on Friday, they open up a series. Oh, my goodness. Again, Wi-Fi shoddy. You guys can let me know who they play this weekend. I'm totally lost. But I know they play Friday. I know they have tomorrow off, and then they play on Friday. You guys can let me know in the comments who they play on Friday. I really do appreciate that. If you guys can help me out, that'd be awesome. All right, so guys, enjoy your off day tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys on Friday, hoping to start off a weekend series on a right note. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Talk to you guys then.